and welcome. Welcome back to the Wisdom of Loving. Of course, the Wisdom of Loving is a little podcast show for the G100 Oneness and Wisdom Wing. What is G100? G100 is a group of 100 women leaders from across the globe, all led by Dr. Harbeen Aurora. And one of those wings is the Oneness and Wisdom Wing. I happen to be fortunate enough to be the chair for my home country, Germany. And my wing is being led on the global platform by Jennifer Randolph, who is amazing in the way that she leads us, helps us, and supports us. Now, as part of my Germany wing, if you want, I have an advisory council. And the very first person that I invited and was fortunate enough that he accepted to be one of my advisors is the person you see on the other side of the screen. I can't say left or right because everything's different. Ashkan Tabibnia, also known as the Legacy Architect. And I wanted to talk to Ashkan and all my advisors first to see what they think about the wisdom of loving, the title of the show. And they don't know the questions I'm going to ask. So Ashkan, welcome first. Let's dive right into it. We are
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me and this amazing introduction. I'm looking forward.
Well, it's just a simple question, simple conversation, because, we could spend an hour talking about you and the work that you do, but oneness and wisdom, obviously, I had to pick one of those. Wisdom. What do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear the wisdom of loving?
Wow, this is great. I have to go by my instinct on this, wisdom is something you acquire
Mhm.
and comes with it's earned.
Mhm.
And what do I mean with that is like everyone has a journey, has a mission in life. Some start early as childhood, they know, and some they find out later. I believe the um, ultimate time that somebody reached their wisdom again is not because of age related. It's when people go through their mission or through their sometimes also it's not by choice. Sometimes they go through challenges in life that are not called for, and we're not here to really say was it giving to them to really make them who they need to be, but really in a simple sense focusing on these two different areas how you can acquire wisdom. One, you choose that I know I am the mission or the cause to do that, and then you start, and as a result of your hard work and service and your sacrifice, you will reach and earn that wisdom.
Mhm.
Now, in the other sense, which is happens all the time for various unfortunate or fortunate challenges that comes to us, and as a result of dealing with it, sometimes with a good mindset, and we are able to um, go through it, and sometimes it doesn't matter negative mindset. The nature makes sure we go through it
Mhm. Mhm.
with of course with a lot of sometimes pain and
Yeah.
suffering and whatever else. But on the other side, that's when the tree of wisdom will
Mm.
blossom.
Yes.
And then you have a chance to enjoy whether it was your choice or not to have that wisdom that comes with it as a package. But also at the same time, you need to be aware of that now you have that wisdom. And now how do you enjoy it? How to use it? And of course, a lot of people say, wisdom comes with the old age, or equally true
Mhm.
as we get older, we've been through a lot and we have so much wisdom. Now, you are bringing it with such a wonderful, I don't even know what to tell you. There's, loving, love.
Yes.
And I believe that that is such a big, um, I don't even want to say channel or a topic or a way of, love, as we know, could be everything.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, universal energy. God is love, right? And how do we even define love? And how do we even bring it together with wisdom?
Mm.
I believe that there are moments that if you are, when I say in love, uh, it's just a simple way of understanding you are beyond yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You either love what you do, or you just, the cause or even the business or whatever you
Yeah.
do is so in line with you. You can really enter this realm of kind of nirvana, kind
Mm-hmm.
of beyond time and physicality. And that is really the love that gets you there, right? And I believe uh, when we actually combine those two and we go through the loving gate, the loving and wisdom, then there are times that we don't need to go through our um, innate abilities of following our dreams or goals
Mm-hmm.
to have wisdom, or we don't need to go certainly through a certain challenge or something that happened to us to have the wisdom.
Mm.
If you use the gate of loving in a proper way, in a right way, to serve other people through that, or yourself, or your organization or your foundation, you are actually wisdom. And you have. So like with using because love, it's so God, unlimited. Is how do you define? You can't. How do you
Mm-hmm.
define it? You can't. Sometimes it's a state of being, sometimes a feeling. What
Yes.
is love?
Yeah.
Because it's so godlike and because it's so unfathomable. And you know, when you are working that frequency, of course, not with your physicality, with your mind, you're in a state that everything is. So
Mm-hmm.
because everything is, including wisdom, you have. So as long as you can, sometimes we have all those moments that we just know we enter, love gets us there, and then we have the wisdom because we connect to the source of the wisdom, which is God and the universe. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's my idea of wisdom and love separately and then together.
Interesting. So it's, overcoming time and space, and it almost sounds partly like the hero's journey. Now, in the world that we live in while we're recording this, it seems to be getting more challenging to love one another. What we hear in the news, there's so much going on where a lot of people sometimes wonder, how can I love another? They said something mean, they're doing something mean. How can I love another person in the world that we currently live in? And that to me goes to the idea of oneness as well. What are you saying to people who don't believe that we can be loving in the current environment, or that there is no wisdom in loving another person at this time in the world?
Well, this goes back to how all of us are very unique and are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like flowers. We say flowers, but they are thousands of different flowers with different colors and different smells, and also
Mm-hmm.
food. We say category of food, but there are a lot of
Yeah.
different dishes, right? And each one tastes different. Some comes and they enjoy steak, some is vegetarian. If you look at the steak, they go, "Oh, I don't want to say it," but the same idea is with people. When we
Mm-hmm.
don't agree and we are just we don't give up, but really we think, how do I start again?
Mm-hmm.
With the world we're living, with the experiences I had, whether it was personal or through what I see through the world,
Right.
I just don't feel like this loving kindness oneness. So how do I start again?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes oneness is not about all of us to be, one. Sometimes oneness is actually the celebrating and respecting, uh, you know, everybody's differences,
Mm-hmm.
um, how they are, how they think, how they feel, as long as it's in line with basic human values.
Of course.
I
Yes.
even want to go back to say uh, whether people, are have a certain religion or certain beliefs or certain. It's all respectful. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I do not agree with idea of woke everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
No, being right
Yeah.
is not. We can do whatever we like under the sun. So even though there's a quote from King Solomon that we have seen everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that because we are all human and we have been given certain choices and certain way of and certain respect, there are a lot of differences, and some of them we don't agree. And it's like, as I mentioned, at the end of the day, your question, how do we start back on a journey, is by really going back to basics
Mm-hmm.
and just uh, when there's so much drama and so much even I don't want to get political here, so much suffering, how do we even start? So it's very hard. Sometimes we see the image, things that happens. It's so it kind of it numbs us. It
Yes.
makes us paralyzed. We can't even move if we want to. How do we
Mm-hmm.
do it? So the
Mm-hmm.
idea is to go back, not to the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but going back to the idea of how we are all connected. We
Mm-hmm.
are all created by, in my belief, God,
Mm-hmm.
and we all were created without any uh, names. Our
Mm-hmm.
parents give us our
Mm-hmm.
names,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have any, what kind of beliefs is our later because we have a choice.
Right.
We go back to how we are all created
Mm-hmm.
equal under the sun, whether we
Mm-hmm.
are uh, any race, doesn't matter what race or what color. And we start from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ask ourselves, what are the basic values that are, uh, everybody agrees,
Mm-hmm.
respectful,
Mm-hmm.
what you
Mm-hmm.
brought, being loving to everyone, being respectful to everyone.
Right.
And there is a chance when we actually, it's a self, for those people who are asking,
Mm-hmm.
it's a self discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So if they cannot continue anymore, it's because of their reflection of their own reality. What they need to do is they have to take, and it's a personal thing, it's not a bias thing. What
Mm-hmm.
they just need to do is they need to go back in a journey of themselves, go
Yeah.
back to their, when they were born, and
Mm-hmm.
understand that, at that time, when we are born and we are at a certain age, uh, let's say when we are 5 years old, 7 years old, we are
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about who has what religion or what color or what
Right.
political.
Right.
We're just happy. If you put, I give you an example. If you put, I'm not taking people who were just born, but if you put like about 20, 30, 3 to 4, 5 year old in a um, unbiased,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uncontrolled by parents, a
Yes.
room with some balls and
Oh,
some
yes.
playing. Guess you know what
Mm-hmm.
they do?
They play.
They play together.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna laugh together, and some
Mm-hmm.
of them gonna fall. They're gonna guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna pick him up,
Yes.
and you're, that is really a very good example of
Mm-hmm.
how we could be if we want to go back to being like 5 years old and really respect each other's beliefs and disagreements. But again, as long as they are um, in line with
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
basic human
Mm-hmm.
and nature rules and regulations,
Yeah.
then that's the way we can start back and really create oneness again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the child within, right? Let's be children again and forget
So,
all of
yeah,
the
go back
social
to our
teaching.
child. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this
absolutely.
is actually good for ourselves. We always need to ask ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
as we are projecting, asking everyone to become one and agree with my how I see the world, my beliefs. Ask this question. Uh, you know, they have the same right, even though I see them and I don't agree with them. They can ask the same question,
Yes.
and then at that time we can create respect. to disagree with each other. But then again, it goes back under the same rules. We need to, as long as it's in line with, it doesn't matter which religion, doesn't matter which belief system, basic human rights. In America, we call it basic liberty, freedom, and pursuit of happiness. You know, in some other countries, they have different names, but at the end of the day, is what goes back to what you originally asked. It goes back to loving everyone as ourselves, which is one of the amazing Ten Commandments. You know, uh, love your friends as you love yourself. And that's really, really goes down to that.
Yeah. And I love the example of, you know, the flowers or the food, the overriding categories, because I always see life as a puzzle. Our differences can actually make us stronger as one, because we all bring something special to the table. And if we love ourselves, like you said, you know, love thy neighbor like you love yourself, you first got to love yourself, and then everything else seems to be so much easier. So maybe that's the wisdom as well. Thank you, Ashkan. I have one last question for you. Anybody who's listening, watching now or later, what is the one piece of advice that you would possibly want to generally give people about how they can be more loving, or how they can achieve more, or live, legacy architect, live more wisdom of loving?
No, I will tell them, just go back to your childhood and just try to, even if you don't remember, try to feel how it was. How, you know, we have worries, you know, whatever we need to do, plans, we create projections we need to do. But, you know, at that time, our parents usually, you know, if it was a normal setting family, they would take care of. We didn't have a worry about, you know, how we're going to make the money, or the rent's going to get paid, or even about our, you know, peer groups, about the competitions, you know, what house they have, what cars they have, or how much money they have, or what kind of business they have. It was so pure. It was so beautiful, and it existed. It existed while we were there, and that was the magic. And what happened? You know, the question they have to ask is, from then till now, it's a journey back. We go back to how you said, the child within. And of course, if they cannot do that, there are many, even they can hire yourself, people who are in this field to guide them. Sometimes they can't go back. So they have some trauma or whatever that is. The hypnotism, there are various ways they can go back to the child within and experience, or not remember, that feeling, how it was. And then when you have that experience, you come back to the journey today, and you try to, that's the advice I want to tell them. Whatever they can bring back to today, and I'll talk about the areas of their life they're happy with, you know, things are amazing, wonderful, you know, but they could apply that, what we call, I keep calling it nirvana, that beautiful feeling of purity to today. And I believe, again, nothing I'm saying wasn't said before. If they can tap into their child within, which was there and is there, they can really have the opportunity to create that serenity, the healing. A lot of times it's healing that they need, a lot of healing, and actually even the dreams they want to have. It's all right now possible for them, with one opportunity, that when they tap into the child within, they can activate it now. And I do want to say thank you, of course, as the chair of German G100 Oneness and Wisdom, and our wonderful chair lady, you know, Dr. Randolph, and our visionary, Dr. Harbin. That's a good example, is right there. You know, just in the G100, you know, Oneness and Wisdom, we have all the people from different countries, and they speak differently. They are from different backgrounds, different understandings and businesses, and you know, even from governmental. They're all from, and you know what? At the end of the day, they all came together under G100 oneness.
Yeah.
And even then, you know, there are over 100 chapters that are different. And then yet, when you go back one, it's like Google Geo. And when you go zoom out, guess what happens? Goes back to G100, one, which brings the 100 and the 100. And when you go even further, you go back to the loving wisdom of the founder, Dr. Harbin. So it is all one.
There's nothing left to say. It is all one. Thank you, Ashkan.
Thank you.
And
Absolutely.
everybody who's listening, watching this now, this is just one of the many little segments that I love to do about the wisdom of loving. If you've got some questions, please give them to me, write them to me. But you'll be hearing more from the other county chairs or Bundesländer chairs of Germany and many other global chairs as well. Thank you.
And I want to thank you even for that opportunity. I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you.